we have reviewed the Romantic Victorian and the Modernist eras of literature, including the progress of the Industrial Revolution, and the integration of science into society. Both Nathaniel Hawthorne, and Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, focused their works on the Industrial Revolution, and feared that the progress of science negatively impacted society. While in class we reviewed Shelley's Immortal, we have yet to go over Hawthorne's The Birthmark. So, I will take a moment to explain. Follow me. There are three main characters in The Birthmark. Aylmer.
I am one of two main characters of The Birthmark. I am Aylmer, a scientist who obsesses over my wife's birthmark and tries to use science as a means to rid her of it.
Georgiana is the second main character.
I am Aylmer's wife. I have a birthmark on my cheek in the shape of a fairy's handprint. Some say that my birthmark adds to my beauty, but my husband believes the opposite.
And finally, Aminadab.
I'm Aminadab, Aylmer's assistant. I am the third character present in The Birthmark. However, I do not play a major role, and will be left out due to time constraints.
Though these are more modernized versions of the characters, they serve the same purpose as those in The Birthmark. When we are first introduced to Aylmer and Georgiana, Aylmer, much to Georgiana's dismay, tries to convince her to allow him to rid her of her birthmark.
Fear not, dearest, do not shrink from me. Believe me, Georgiana, I even rejoice in this single imperfection, since it will be such rapture to remove it.
Oh, spare me. Pray do not look at it again. I never can forget that convulsive shudder.
After much talk and a page's worth of dialogue, Aylmer and Georgiana came to an agreement.
I know not what may be the cost to both of us to rid me of this fatal birthmark. Perhaps its removal may cause cureless deformity, or it may be that the stain goes as deep as life itself.
I have spent much thought upon the subject. I am convinced of the perfect practicability of its removal.
Let the attempt be made at whatever risk. Danger is nothing to me, for life, while this hateful mark makes me the object of your horror and disgust, life is a burden, which I would fling down with joy. Either remove this dreadful hand or take my wretched life.
After many attempts, Aylmer creates a potion to remove Georgiana's birthmark. The potion removes the birthmark with disastrous results.
My poor Aylmer. You have rejected the best the earth could offer. Aylmer, dearest Aylmer, I am dying.
As the last sole token of the birthmark faded from her cheek, the parting breath of the now perfect woman passed into the atmosphere. Had Aylmer reached a profounder wisdom, he need not thus have flung away the happiness which would have woven his mortal life of the self-same texture with the celestial. Though Immortal and The Birthmark were written continents apart, they both depict the same views on the Industrial Revolution through use of a detached tone. The symbol of the elixir of life. And characterization, Mary Shelley and Nathaniel Hawthorne are able to enhance the idea that science, though it is thought to be superior to nature, causes its own abolition. Both of the authors employ a detached tone, despite the narrator's different points of view. This accomplishes many things. First, the detached tone allows the authors to express the indifference of their main characters. Second, it helps to accentuate the characters' alienation from their communities, and in Winsley's case, the entire human race. And third, it illustrates Aylmer's and Winsley's lack of faith in romantic ideals. The second device Hawthorne and Shelley employ is the symbolism of the elixir. Though referred with positive annotations such as the elixir of life or immortality, both elixirs cause death in their wake. The elixir, like science, is nothing more than a ruse that beckons to the scientists as science beckons to the people, giving them the opposite of what it is intended to produce. Characterization also works to the author's advantage. In essence, both Aylmer and Winsley are Byronic heroes. Their constant defiance of authority assures that they give in to science as an attempt to control nature. This assures their own destruction. Also, because the plot is spurred by the characters' decisions, the authors are able to accentuate that selfishly using science in order to manipulate nature has consequences. Aylmer, as a scientist, and Winsley, as a suspected immortal, Both place themselves above the human race, causing their own alienation. Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley and Nathaniel Hawthorne use many devices such as tone, symbolism, and characterization to accentuate the destructive force of science when it is used to manipulate or control nature. Both Shelley and Hawthorne opposed the increase of practiced science during the Romantic era, which shows through in their short stories, such as Shelley's Immortal and Hawthorne's The Birthmark. I hope you have enjoyed today's presentation, and thank you very much for your time.